Thank you very much for joining me today. How you doing? I'm back to react to the rest of this video. Culture shocked Americans share things they didn't realize were so American. By Brainy Dude. Check him out, link down below. So far, the first part was very entertaining. We left off here, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Which I freaking love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I can't believe the rest of the world is not on board with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You gotta try it, and you gotta film it and put it on YouTube. I will say, I think it's like a Depression-era food, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, kind of like the tomato sandwich. How about that? You guys think peanut butter and jelly? Look at that. It's literally a slice of tomato with mayo and bread. Depression-era type food. Very cheap. People still eat it today, though. Mostly old people.
Would have said, hey, let's do this weekend. In the car, kids.
Okay, sorry.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. On a related note, no, Vegemite and butter are not an adequate substitution. You know who you are. Keeping
Obviously Australians.
on 100% of the time in the summer. Visited Madrid for about a month to see the exchange student we housed and found that they typically only turn on AC at night to sleep or when it reaches a damned 105 degree F.
Interesting. I mean, this might be a little bit of a misconception because just because your AC is on doesn't mean it's running. It only runs when the temperature on the thermostat, you know, when it goes beneath a certain threshold that you set. Or when it goes above, I should say, for AC. If it goes above 72 degrees Fahrenheit, the AC kicks on, brings it back down. So it's turning on and off all day just to keep that temperature. But anyway, that is pretty weird. That's what I used to do when I was very poor, was turn off my AC. Not just during the day, though. I turned it off all the time and just used a fan. Anyway.
Eating a burger
Which when you live in freaking Indiana and it gets to 105 degrees, it gets pretty freaking hot.
and fries with your hands. I just assumed everyone did this. I went to Sweden
What else would you eat it with?
with my boyfriend and we stopped at a burger joint. Small local place.
This is about to make me mad. I'm not going to lie. I almost don't even want to read it. You don't eat a burger with a fork.
When the chef heard we were American, he immediately wanted us to try a specialty burger he made and tell him what we thought about it. They were
Oh, I would be so excited.
all excited when we picked it up with our hands and we realized everyone else in the place was using a fork and knife. Burger was 11/10.
Oh, man. I want to try that burger. But, wow. That's the most un-American thing I ever heard, which I guess they're not in America. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess that's literally why it's un-American. You got to eat the burger with your hands. Like, are you kidding me? That's as bad as eating pizza with a fork and knife. Do you guys do that too? Damn. Americans are just like more messy, I think. I've never heard that stereotype, I don't think, but I think that's probably true.
Water pressure. Y'all's showers are like a flower watering pot. I like to feel my shower. Like, make the pressure strong enough to tear my skin off, then back it off like 10%.
Wow, that's interesting. I never heard about that. Low water pressure? I'm not gonna lie, that does make me mad, and I don't even know why. But when you go in a shower and it's just like trickling onto you, I don't know why, but it makes me kind of mad. I like it to be blasting. Blasting. It makes it like a lot easier to get the shampoo out of your hair. I don't know.
I grew up in the US and moved to Europe about 10 years ago. I learned quickly to get out of the habit of smiling or saying hello to strangers on the street. I didn't understand why people found it so off-putting at first, because I thought I was simply being polite.
It is kind of funny because in certain, it kind of depends how you do it, because I could see how it's creepy to smile at someone. You know, if you're doing, if you do it a little too long, mainly. You know, a smile at someone should just be, if you're like, whoa. Wow.
A European friend
That could be creepy.
explained that it comes across as funny/untrustworthy and puts people on their guard. It can still be hard sometimes.
I could see that. That is true actually over here in America too. You'll be walking down the street in some place like Las Vegas, and if someone's like being too friendly, like smiling at you, waving, they're trying to sell you something. Guaranteed.
Times to shake the feeling that I'm being rude by not smiling at everyone I pass by. Here in the States, pregnancy announcements, reveals, baby showers are mainstream, but it's generally a big no-no to bring it up in Kenya. My mom found out the hard way. Essentially, asking someone when the baby is due is the equivalent of asking the person when did you and your husband F, which is considered extremely rude.
But I mean, people are gonna figure it out when the baby's born, huh? If they really wanted to. So, I mean, does that mean asking someone's birthday is rude? Because then you could figure out, oh, so your parents effed on this day in 1996.
The lady my mom asked was
That's interesting, though. That's interesting.
gracious about it, but said if we were not such good friends I would have slapped you. I'm not American, but visit the US a lot, and I tell you, almost all Americans has this habit of giving the half smile look to anyone. That is not just normal anywhere else. Getting to choose from like 50 different types and subtypes of sodas. Hearing commercials advocating you to go to the doctor and demand a prescription for whatever fantasy pill is new to the market on the road.
That is so weird. It's weird because even I think that is so freaking bizarre. I have never gone to the doctor and said, "Hey, I saw an ad for this prescription. Maybe you should consider prescribing me it." I just let him do his job. Okay? I'm not. That's so weird. To like commercialize a prescription, something that's you're supposed to be. You know, you shouldn't. I don't know. You shouldn't be taking it. You shouldn't want to have to take a prescription, and you shouldn't. You really shouldn't have any say in it unless you are, you know, the doctor. Ideally. I mean, of course, you want to advocate for yourself and stuff. But to be like, I need this pill. That is so weird. And I think you guys agree. So, yeah.
Video like it is no big deal. Going out to a restaurant. In America, you are seated as soon as possible, and then they bring you drinks, appetizers, entree, dessert, and then check as quick as they possibly can.
Yeah. As quick as they possibly can. That's an interesting way to describe it. I like to be accurate in this type of stuff. And usually it's not that quick. At least, I guess it's all relative to what I'm used to as an American. But yes, of course they try to seat you as quick as possible. I would hope so. And then they ask, first thing they do is ask what you'd like to drink. And then they bring you your drinks. But, you know, usually it takes a few minutes. Anyway, I don't know. How does it work in Europe?
If it's good service, for a total time of 45 minutes to an hour and a half-ish. Staying past this time is seen as a bit rude.
I disagree with that. I've heard that before, I've heard people say that before, and it always makes me think they must work at a restaurant. Like, I have never thought, oh, we should leave. It's rude. It's rude that we're here. They brought us our check 30 minutes ago. We should really pack up and leave, guys. We're being rude. I've never thought that. You paid to be there. Probably an exorbitant amount of money. Especially in 2024. To eat at this restaurant. I'm in no rush to leave. I'll stay there for 3 hours. And if they have a problem with it, I'm never coming back. I've never had a problem with it. I guess I should say, sometimes you'll get the vibe. Every once in a while, you'll get the vibe like they're trying to rush you. And that's an instant, like, 0 tip, in my opinion. That's like, okay, no, don't do that. But I'm saying that's only happened maybe like 2 or 3 times to me in my life. Usually they say, no rush. That's the go-to. No rush, stay as long as you like. They should say that.
In Europe, going out to eat seemed to be more of an event that you slowly enjoyed for a longer period of time. First,
I like that.
they bring you drinks and an appetizer for the first hour. Then the second hour is the entree and dessert. Then it's
Holy shit. They bring you drinks and an appetizer for an hour? Wow, okay, this is on a whole different level of like, slow-paced.
more drinks for another half hour or so. I don't know if it's because we were American, but it seemed like the wait staff everywhere we went was annoyed that we were rushing them when we just thought it was
How ironic is that? It's flipped around. The wait staff is like, no, take your time. Take your time.
bad service and didn't understand the routine. The prices abroad don't add tax.
Why would they be annoyed, though? I guess that's something I don't... In theory, they're working for... Well, I was going to say they're working for a tip, but I guess they're not. See, that's the thing over here in America. I mean, they do have that incentive. Well, it's kind of a balance, because on one hand, they're not trying to rush you because then you're not going to tip. But on the other hand, they want to get their next table in there, you know, to get another tip, another tip, another tip. So it's a balance. I guess if you're not getting tipped, then you really don't care how long people stay. I guess. In fact, it actually incentivizes you to move a little slower or not, you know, like not be rushed at all. That's interesting to think about.
After the fact, you pay what the price shows. No need to figure the tax. Dumb that we do that here.
Yeah, it's stupid. That's just obviously stupid. It's basically a scam. In my opinion, that's basically a scam. It should be illegal.
Shorts. I swear there are 14 million people in Istanbul, and I was the only one wearing shorts. Not American. But I found out that having an electric kettle is mandatory in every home like toilet paper.
Isn't mandatory? Not American. Huh?
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's not mandatory.
Canadian for reference.
So in Canada, they have an electric kettle? I didn't know Canada was so big into, like, tea. Interesting. Yeah, no. Most people don't have an electric kettle. Probably 95% of people do not.
How are you? Being used in place of hello even with strangers. In the US, how are you needs only to be replied with good, you, almost as a way of saying hi. Elsewhere people don't really know how to respond when a stranger asks how are you doing, or how's it going.
Obviously that's something I've heard a million times. It is interesting to think about it, but I've heard it a million times.
I did an art history course in Italy.
I mean, it's kind of interesting that people take that so literal. I mean, I guess it's difficult for me as an American growing up here. It's literally like it's the go-to greeting everywhere. How are you? To me, it just doesn't mean much. It's like saying, what's up, or hi. Essentially, like, it's just like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? You know? But I guess if no one ever asked me that, then to be asked that one day randomly might be like, oh, like, I guess I'll tell you how I am. My butt itches. How are you?
What really stood out to me was the size of cars over there. Over here you have a mix of mid-sized sedans and pickup trucks/SUVs. With the occasional compact car. Back when I went, compact cars here were incredibly scarce. Over there, it seemed like most everyone drove a compact car, with the occasional sports car.
That's interesting. I do feel like there's a lot more sports cars in Europe, which I guess makes sense, given the manufacturers over there making some really beautiful cars, beautiful sports cars. But I mean, sedans aren't... Over here, you have a mix of mid-sized sedans and pickup trucks. That's true. Yeah, absolutely, that's true. I was a little bit confused with the occasional compact car. I guess I'm thinking, what is considered a compact car? Like a really small car? Like a Fiat? Yeah, those are rare. Those are pretty rare.
I remember counting 6 pickup trucks in the 10 days I was there. For comparison, I can name more than 6 people I know with a pickup here.
Oh, yeah. And that does depend on where you live, like the state. But there's still going to be a lot of pickup trucks no matter where you go. But over here in, like, Indiana, for instance, like, when I moved to Indiana, I was like, holy shit. You know, from another state, I moved to Indiana, and I'm like, oh my god, the amount of pickup trucks here is crazy. Crazy. It's probably 30% of all the cars.
Parenting roles falling almost exclusively on the mother. Going to Denmark was weird. Almost all strollers were pushed by dads. There was billboards with dad.
Oh. Okay, I actually had this flipped. I was a little confused there. I thought they were saying in Europe, it's exclusively the mother. I guess as a dad, I mean, yeah, there are definitely those dads over here in America that don't do shit. That is for sure. But I'm not one of them, you know what I mean? Trust me, I'm out there pushing the stroller all the time. So this doesn't apply to me, like.
And snuggling with their babies.
And I like to snuggle.
And they were much more loving and affectionate than I've ever seen. How colorful people dress. In pretty much every European country I've been to, people dress with really neutral colors without big logos or graphics. In America it's pretty common to have people dress in bright colors, or have a shirt with a cool graphic on it. Europeans dress pretty fashionable.
That's for sure. Like the Europeans, you guys are so much more fashionable, I feel like. More fancy. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like in the first part, they said, you know, when you go to Walmart over here in America at 3 a.m., people go in their pajamas, their sweatpants, their Crocs. You're just not... Sometimes over here in America, you're not trying to look presentable. Just because you're out and about at Walmart does not mean, and you're in public, does not mean you need to look particularly presentable. Maybe that's, I feel like that's a distinction. You know what I mean? In Europe, you guys, it seems like anytime you go in public, you want to look good. Which is commendable. But over here in America, I mean, it's a much lower threshold, I guess I should say. Much lower bar. You don't want to go out like dirty or something, like looking like crap with your hair all in any different direction. But as far as the way you're dressed, it just depends on the occasion. If it's 2 a.m. and you're at Walmart, there is no expectation of what you will look like.
But they aren't very expressive when it comes to clothing. Huge amounts of personal space. I know everywhere has the concept of a personal bubble, but for Americans, it's more like a personal iron curtain. Now I can't unsee the lengths that Americans will go to be far away from other people.
Isn't that interesting? I always feel like that's a bit of a contradiction, or an interesting contradiction between Americans being very, friendly and hello, how are you? You know, I don't even know you, but I'm going to talk to you. But when it comes to the touching, don't come near me. Interesting.
Next time you get on an elevator or a metro in America, look at how perfectly spaced out everyone is standing to maximize the distance to other people.
Oh yeah. That really is what it is all about. If you're able to get further away from someone and you're not, that's like, it's bordering on rude or creepy. You know, and of course it depends. But for the most part, humans in America act like, you know, like a gas. It's like a chemistry thing. You know, like when a gas, you know, the particles, I'm actually not a chemist, but when the particles, you know, when you fill up a balloon, the particles disperse evenly. That's Americans. Thank you for watching. That was really fascinating. Go check out Brainy Dude. That was actually really fun. That was a lot of fun. Did I mention it was fun? I'll see you guys tomorrow.